All right, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? Your boy IronAngel here, and if you see right there, we're talking about Cyberpunk again. They're actually the developers are going to be breaking down this game, and hold up, what else was it? Oh yeah, developer breakdown. Because I wanted details more about the game. I wanted to see more Idris Elba, but I know they don't want to spoil nothing. I'm excited that he's in there. I like him as an actor, so the fact he's in this game, I think is pretty cool. I love Cyberpunk. If you've seen my other videos, you know to me it's one of my favorite. It's one of the best games I've ever played. Not the best game, but one of them. Even with the whole issue they had in the beginning when it was released, gameplay, story, weapons, Keanu Reeves, your character, the endings, like all of it looks good. And I did a reaction to the actual trailer to this, the one before this trailer here, so you can check that out and see what my reaction was. But I'm looking forward to it. I am going to be playing this more on YouTube. The Cyberpunk now, I'm going to play it leading up to this DLC. But anyway, this is a long video, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. This is 18 minutes. I'm going to talk as it plays if there's something I have to say. But I want to watch it with y'all, so yeah, let's get right into it.
Hello everyone! Recently you saw the official trailer for Phantom Liberty, and today we have a special treat. I sat down with narrative director Igor Sojinsky, and together we took a deep dive into some of the cool new stuff we showed off in the video. If you missed the trailer, let's start by watching it first.
Oh, I can skip that. I already did a reaction to it. Y'all can see it.
Awesome stuff, a lot to take in. Thankfully, I have narrative director Igor
I love
Sojinsky
CD
here with
Projekt
me.
Red. I love
Igor,
their games.
thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Hey.
We'll be going clip by clip, and we'll be dissecting what we just saw, and we'll start with the setting, Dogtown. Looks like a lot of chaos, a lot of control maybe in this part of Night City, but tell me more.
Yeah, pretty right actually. Dogtown, formerly known as Combat Zone, but renamed to Dogtown by one Kurt Hansen. It's the guy who you saw on the billboard. He's current ruler of Dogtown, and this mix between tyrant, a protector, but first of all, a businessman. Our inspiration when creating Dogtown with its internal dynamics and politics, and also Kurt Hansen's character, were South American drug lords, guys who invest into local communities, build schools, bridges, become those reverend figures, but actually at the same time to treat those communities as a cover-up to all their dirty, shady deals, drugs, weapons, you name it.
Caring for the community.
Yeah, caring for the community. Yeah, and this is exactly the case here. Kurt controls Dogtown, at least parts of it, using Barghest. Barghest is his military unit. It's like part gang, part military unit. Actually, it consists of both Militex soldiers from Kurt's unit who stayed behind in Night City during the last corporate war, decided not to come back home and just make this area their own. And also it consists of like different gangers, marauders who joined, since then.
Interesting mix of people coming from different walks of lives.
Yeah, and they aren't exactly the most sorted out military unit. Sometimes they do things on their own, but for sure they all very much respect Kurt, and he's like where this, just...
He's the boss.
He's the boss. Yeah. Dogtown itself is actually a very interesting place, full of contrasts.
I want to know
who's this weird mix of,
as
you said, like authority and anarchy. You have areas which are controlled by Barghest and also like safe in a way. You can find, rave parties under the stars in other places. Other places are just so dangerous that almost no one goes there, and it's very easy to get killed there. Trauma doesn't come to Dogtown because it's too dangerous. Actually, the whole district was supposed to be this kind of like paradise, entertainment / casino, hotel strip, but the whole development was interrupted by the war, and now you have this. It's more like a squat mixed with the free trade zone, and this free trade is actually a big selling point of Dogtown, let's say. Because it's a place free of corpos, but most importantly, free of corpo taxes. Yeah. So if you want to do some kind of deal, Dogtown is the place. On the black market here, you can find all kinds of stuff.
Cyberpunk
from
style,
some weird tech you wouldn't find even in Kabuki as custom, something, custom cyberware, to stolen corporate equipment, to even if you are coming from a different part of the world and you need it for your internal needs, a tank. Yeah, would you like one?
Yeah, me totally. I could always use a tank. But yeah, don't get your hopes up. You cannot buy a tank and go with Johnny and go to Arasaka Tower and destroy everything. Don't even think about it. But it is a place if you're in pretty much in the market for something like this, you can get it.
Yep, this is the place.
Crazy, and also awesome at the same time. Let's move on. We're seeing a character appear throughout this video, and she is called Myers.
I like that gun she got.
She seems to be a prominent figure. Like, what can you tell me about her, and what's her relationship with 2V or the player in this case?
This is President Rosalind Myers, President of NUSA, right now in a bit of a pickle due to the crash landing of her Space Force One inside Dogtown. She's, as all characters we try to create, we try to give them like different aspects to them, so they're just not like a function, This is the president who gives orders, and we try to look for different like faces and aspects in Myers too. Yeah. So she's a former Marine, a soldier, a very.
She looks like she's capable with a gun.
She's very capable. She's a badass actually, but maybe even for her, the whole Barghest forces and whole Dogtown against her might be even too much for her. And this is where V comes in to help her get out of there. But it's not the only like face of Myers. Let's say she's also a very capable and like logically thinking politician. At the same time, she has this human aspect to her, and like there will be moments where like emotions take over. Let's say. So I hope players will find her like a complex and interesting character.
Yeah, she looks freaking amazing. Okay, next up we have some giant thing waking up, and what is that thing? Looks scary. Am I supposed to be afraid of that?
I hope.
Well, you
okay,
might.
We still got 10 minutes. I hope they get into Idris Elba's character.
Chimera. It's part of this
maybe the last part
left behind during the last corporate war. A remnant, you could even say a ghost of the past actually, but maybe some things shouldn't be left behind because in the wrong hands they can cause a total mayhem, which might be a case in this here as well. Chimera is equipped with all kinds of weapons and might or might not be obstacle on these adventures.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a challenge. We'll see.
He's like, I ain't saying nothing.
Just the eyebrows and that's it.
The way he just went.
Okay, I get it. Next up, Star Power.
Oh, here we go.
Idris Elba, aka Solomon Reed. Important character for this story, but how important and what's his relationship to V?
One of the most important, actually, I would say that together, with Reed, V, and Songbird are like three most important characters here. Reed is this kind of guy that if you want to change a government in another country, this is the guy you send there, and it just kind of happens. No one ever finds out how.
Nice.
And but it did happen. A master spy working for NUSA for many, many years, recruiting agents, doing those kinds of like super difficult missions. Around 7 years ago, put on a back burner, became a sleeper agent, and now, during the course of Phantom Liberty story, he's woken up again, and will be working closely with V on a mission in Mission Dogtown. It's not always gonna be necessarily super smooth, but conflict is storytelling, so this is like what we want here.
Perfect.
And as with Myers and any other character, like we try to create a complex, layered character, even more so with such an amazingly cool actor as Idris Elba, to play him like you want to, get the most out of him. And so Reed is, for example, he's super loyal, but those loyalties, they can clash sometimes. He's both loyal to, the greater good, the safety of the country, of the state, but he's also very loyal to the people who are close to him. And at the same time, there are like certain principles inside him which he also wants to stay true to. And those loyalties, sometimes they might pull him into different directions, push and pull and so on, and he will be facing some difficult choices, which V will also have a chance to affect.
Yeah, it's amazing that you mentioned this, because whenever you guys create characters, I feel like they have, like you said, like different directions that are kind of pulling on them, and they're not very like linear. They're not like, okay, this is my one loyalty and motivation. There's multiple things, which makes them more relatable and makes them more human.
That's one thing I like about it.
It's also an interesting part of like writing process, really, because first when you create characters, usually
they have a code,
are a little bit more like
they
functional
think about
or like a
changing
little bit simpler. But then with every dialogue you write, every rewrite, every iteration of the story, they kind of become like full and become
They're pretty
own
sure it's going to
characters
depend
in
on
a
your
way.
character's
And
choices.
in the end, you feel it's
like Idris Elba's
actually a
character would
person
do.
and not just this
That's how Cyberpunk's
like
been with
design
every other
you
character.
made. And I think we went through this path with Reed as well.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I can't wait for players to actually discover it for themselves and have their own opinion on the character, because I feel like opinions about characters is something that we're kind of known for, and something that the community always dissects and then has like these, discussions on social media talking about like, do I like this character or dislike this character? So it's something really
This is what I'm really hoping for.
Oh, we
in
still
this
got
piece.
time. Okay, I was about to say, it sounds like you're trying to end it.
All right, moving on. Next up, we have a character changing her appearance, and this is something
yeah, I
that we
forgot
haven't
about
seen
that.
before. Is this something just kind of playing into the spy genre, spy theme of the expansion?
What I really love about games is that they are usually just much bigger than movies, just in terms of like pure runtime of hours to spend with it.
Yeah.
And so you don't really want to spend all this time just like in just one approach, one angle to it. And spy thriller is a very like potent and rich genre you can take from different places. And there are like different fantasies to it. So you have this super agent fantasy, right, which is like Mission Impossible or James Bond, cool gadgets, making use of them, being super cool and smooth and so on. And this, for example, would be aspect of this. But we also got inspired by many like other things. You can have different approaches. You can have this Born, which I personally really love this series. One is just one man against the agency, against this power, trying to escape and like outsmart them. You can have this fantasy from like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, when you actually work for the agency, but it's this crazy intrigue of like lies and super smart people trying to outsmart one another, and you just have to be the top dog in this case. There's the spy game, and first and foremost though, we tried to draw inspirations from actually real world places. From books, interviews, reportages about real agents, real spy operations that happened all around the world. We always in our games try to create this like grounded base. So it's not just like a remix of another things you saw, a remix of a remix in a way, but there's something really true and relevant to it. And so in the end, you kind of try to end up with something that's both like cool and recognizable, but at the same time real and unique.
And also the setting, right? Night City also is something, and actually Cyberpunk as a genre kind of plays into this, because the high tech and also kind of everything being kind of dark, it kind of plays to the whole thing. Plus then you, like you said, you have the movies, you also have real spies, so actually real people who worked in the field, and you're also pulling from all these directions and adding the cyberpunk motif and theme to it, and actually building this something that is familiar yet different at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. In the end, we want to end up with something new and unique and fresh, and like I'm always looking for something
really
that
hope,
hasn't been done before. And
the
like,
DLC's not even out yet, but I hope they keep building
towards it. We try to put our own spin.
Just keep adding expansions. It don't have to be like right away, because this one even out. It's not out yet, but you know what I mean. Don't make another game. Just keep adding to it.
90s action movies.
I think that's how they should do it. With a lot of games
and exciting. And yeah, I hope it worked out.
Last question and last clip that we're seeing, a character that we see appear quite a few times throughout the video that we just saw. Who is she? Because she seems like she's very important to V and also to Solomon Reed in some sense.
Yeah, exactly. The third, I would say, most important character in the story, next to Reed and V. Personally, my favorite one. I think it's because she is just, for me at least, she feels so similar to V in certain ways. I always imagine that maybe in another universe, it could be actually V, who's working for NUSA, and Songbird being the street punk.
Sorry about that.
Really.
I forgot to turn
And
it
I
off.
hope players will perceive her, that was at least our goal, as kind of a mirror to V and to themselves, that by interacting with Songbirds, they will gain a new perspective on V's motivations, V's actions, V's goals. And yeah, it will just like make Songbird somehow interesting to them. But actually, you played the game, so like, what was your take on her?
Actually, it's one of the characters that I instantly fell in love with. But I
hope
also
one
see
day,
that she might be a character that
I get
some
big enough
players
to be
might not
called to these
enjoy,
game companies and try out the game early.
She also has a
Like
lot
when he
of
just said,
layers
you
to
played
her
the game
and
already. I would love to be that
motivations and
person
what
that
she
tries the
does,
games
and
early.
also
Never
how
had that
she's
experience.
kind
That
of
would be cool.
interacting with V can be seen as helping, or maybe not exactly. I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, she seems to be kind of like this divisive character.
Yeah, and actually we had plenty of internal tests. Our whole, not only dev team, but everyone in the studio playing the game.
True.
And we're asking people how they felt about different characters. And in regards to Songbird and actually many other characters, which I'm very happy about, she was divisive. Like some people were like, "Oh, I just sympathize with her so much. She's, you know, she's my kind of person." And others were like, "I absolutely don't understand her and like don't want to support her in any way." And I think it's great. Actually, I'm really happy about it because I think like really good characters don't have to be exactly always likable.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to
That's what
be
I
able
like
to
about
understand
all the
them
characters in
and
the
empathize
game.
with
There's
them.
moments
don't
that you
have to like
love, there's
them.
moments that
And
you
it's
hate,
just like with
there's
real
moments that
people,
you
right?
love.
It's not like
I'm
everyone
sorry.
likes
There's
everyone.
moments
We
that
are
you're
different.
questioning,
This is what
should you
what
like
the
this
magic is,
person or
I
not.
think, of like being cool.
That's what I love about Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
It's all about
that's
decisions.
something that we actually talked about before.
And even if you make the right
This will
decision, that
make
person you're talking to
characters
might not. You might
real
not
and
like them
relatable,
anymore.
That they're human. Like they have different motivations. They are, you know, they're not, like we said previously, they're not linear. They have different things that are pulling them from different directions. And that's what makes it really, really cool. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Igor, amazing stuff. Thank you so much for
All
diving
right.
with me into the narrative part. Super interesting. It's really
I'm
also
looking forward
good
to
to
it.
know
If y'all want me
that
to,
you
is this
like
it?
when playing.
Yeah, if y'all want me to continue when they have stuff like this showing to react to it, let me know in the comments. I watch these anyway, so I don't mind doing reactions. I didn't watch this one yet, but I'm talking about like when Cyberpunk first came out. So I don't mind doing reactions to this. But yeah, I'm excited. Again, you can check my reaction to the actual trailer. It looks really good. I love Cyberpunk, the game, so I'm looking forward to this. This is September, I believe. September 19th? September 26th, okay. I like that cover too. I ain't gonna front. I like this game so much. If they release like a fresh game, I would probably do it just because, like a collector game or something like that, I would probably do it even though I have the game already. That's how good the game is to me, and I'll just give the version I had to someone else. But yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Let me know how y'all feel. I don't want to make this video too long, but thank y'all for tuning in. I'll check you later.